it adds a lot of friction to the process. But I believe that over time, this is going to help build a more trustworthy platform is going to be better for everyone. All right, third, we're also building out a lot of deep technical infrastructure and replumbing the whole infrastructure that we build for this company to support this privacy vision. So as an example of this, our systems today are already built to know who's allowed to authorize, who's authorized to see the photos that you post, for example. So that way, if someone who's not supposed to see it tries to access it on Facebook, we can block them. But now we're also developing infrastructure that knows how certain types of data are allowed to be used, so it can automatically block unauthorized uses in our infrastructure and prevent errors. Now, like a lot of other internet companies out there, we rely on engineers today to manually code a lot of these access rules into our systems. But we think that we can make this more reliable and more secure. So we're looking at ways in future computer languages and in future databases and systems that can encode privacy and data use principles as first-class concepts across our whole infrastructure. And this is going to take a long time. The infrastructure is very complex. But this is just one of the ways that we're replumbing the whole infrastructure for what we do to support this privacy vision. All right, so overall, this isn't just about a few new features, right? This is a big change in how we're building these products and how we run our company. It's not going to happen overnight, and to be clear, we don't have all the answers for how this is going to work yet. But today, we are ready to start talking about parts of what this privacy-focused vision is going to look like across each of the areas that we're building. So let's start with our messaging apps, which is going to be the foundation of this vision. Now, the first thing that we've got to deliver for all of you is the best private messaging experience by far. Right? And then on top of that, we can start building more ways to interact privately. But the first thing that we need to do is deliver a basic messaging experience, which is the fastest, simplest, most reliable, and most secure of any of the leading platforms out there. So for Messenger, we've been focused on rewriting the entire thing from scratch to deliver the best private messaging experience that there is. And last year at F8, we introduced the first step of this, our new very simple design, M4. So that was step one. And now our next goal is to make Messenger the fastest messaging app out there and to make the app binary size smaller than any of the major social apps. So we've been working on a project that we've called Lightspeed. And we've been working on this for a long time to rewrite the whole thing. And now we're a few months away from starting to roll this out. And here are some early benchmarks from our lab, looking at how fast this is compared to the other leading platforms out there. Generally, WhatsApp is faster than the other leading platforms, but the other thing that we showed was basically the average of the leading messaging platforms in each country around the world. And Lightspeed is just going to be much faster. All right, so that's what we're doing on simplicity and speed. To be the most reliable, though, you need to do more than just deliver the messages consistently. Right? We need to make sure that the service is available everywhere that you are. And for a modern messaging experience, that means having a great desktop experience. So we've built a great new desktop app. So you're going to be able to chat and video chat in a native app, not just the browser. And we are launching this on both Mac and Windows. And this is one of our top most requested features. All right, so privacy and security. So we believe that a privacy-focused messaging platform has to be encrypted. So we actually launched Secret Conversations a couple of years ago. So you can already have encrypted and ephemeral conversations if you want. But now we're working towards making end-to-end encryption and reduced permanence the default across all conversations. And when we do this across both Messenger and WhatsApp, we're going to enable more than 2 billion people around the world to have their most personal conversations with each other privately without having to worry about hackers, governments, or even us being able to see what you're saying. So I think that this is just going to be a historically important step for privacy around the world. So with this foundation, the fastest experience, available everywhere, with the strongest privacy and security, now let's take a look at how a private social platform can start to become the center of your social experience. So as an example, we're launching a Friends tab in Messenger, and over time you're going to be able to see what your friends are sharing with you across our different apps. So if you follow someone on Instagram, you'll be able to see their stories. If you're friends with someone on Facebook, you'll be able to see their posts and their stories, and it's going to be all private updates from friends, no public content. And this starts to give you just a sense of what is possible with interoperability between services, and how a private platform can start to be more central to how you interact with friends. It also continues the trend that we've seen with stories, where follow-on conversations are happening in private messages rather than public comment threads more and more. All right, we're also making video chat a lot better. We're launching the ability to co-watch videos with your friends. And this is an example of how video chat, which is just growing really quickly, is one of the basic ways that we all communicate privately, can start to become more of a platform for how, for more of the ways that we would want to interact privately with each other. All right, so now let's move over and talk about WhatsApp. So WhatsApp already has incredibly strong privacy and performance. So here, we're more focused on the next step, which is building out all of the ways that you would want to interact in the digital living room. So first is status. Right? And this is just the most popular ephemeral stories product in the world, even bigger than what we're doing with Instagram. And one of the reasons for this is that it's completely focused on delivering a private and intimate experience. It's all people you know. There are no public figure accounts that you can follow, and it's end-to-end encrypted. So we don't even see the content of the statuses that you post. Now, there's more to do here. We want to make sure that the experience continues to be focused on your closest friends and family, and not just whichever of your contacts happens to share the most. So we're working on ways to do more ranking of the content on the client side, which as we move more of our systems to be encrypted, that kind of work is going to be increasingly important across all of our apps over time. We've also built some ways to share your location privately in real time. And I use this, for example, with my family and my friends when we go skiing together. And we architected this feature so your location data is encrypted. So our servers actually never see your location as you're sharing it with your friends. It's very privacy protective. WhatsApp Business is also a big focus. Within a year, millions of small businesses around the world are using this to communicate privately with their customers. And now we're launching a new feature for this, product catalogs. So you're going to be able to easily see what is available from a business. And now this is going to be especially important for all of the small businesses out there that don't have a web presence and that are increasingly using private social platforms as their main way of interacting with their customers. All right, so let's talk about payments, because this is a part of the vision that I'm particularly excited about. Because when I look out at all the different ways that people interact privately, I think payments is one of the areas where we have an opportunity to make it a lot easier. That's among the most important things that we can do here. I believe that it should be as easy to send money to someone as it is to send a photo. So we're already testing this in India with about 1 million people. It's being used a lot, and the feedback so far is great. And we're already working on rolling this out in a number of other countries later this year. And you can take a look at what the basic experience is. And overall, payments and private commerce is one of the areas that I'm really excited about. And we're going to have a lot more news and things to talk about here over the coming year as we flesh this out more. So these are just a few examples of some of the experiences that we're going to be able to build here. And it's a look at how we're starting to bring this privacy-focused vision to life. Now, I started off today talking about how we all want to be able to communicate both publicly and privately. So now let's turn to Facebook and Instagram, the digital town squares, because as we focus more on privacy across our whole company, we're also focusing on adding more ways to interact privately across these apps as well. And here we're focusing on groups, we're focusing on stories, and more private ways to interact with businesses. Now, a couple of years ago, we changed our whole mission as a company to focus on helping you build community. Right? And the idea here is that our friends and family are always going to be the core of our social lives. But we all also need to belong to communities that share our values and interests, that support us, that help us, give us that sense of purpose, and that help us grow in the ways that we want. And I think that this matters even more today than before. Because in a world where people are joining fewer physical communities and there's less social cohesion, it's more important than ever to make it so that we can easily be a part of communities that are meaningful to us. Now, there are already more than 400 million people who are members of Facebook groups that are meaningful to them and that are among the most important parts of their social experience. And these are groups typically where people get together physically, in person, as well as online, right? Like this small group for people who like running and also care about the environment. So they get together and go running and pick up trash around their town. Or like this tight-knit group for military families. So when they get deployed to a new city, they know where to go to ask what school to send their kids to and how to get integrated into the local community. And we believe that there is a community for everyone. So we've been working on a major evolution to redesign the Facebook app to make communities as central as friends. Now, in the history of Facebook, there have been 4 major versions of the product so far, and this is the 5th. So we are calling this FB5, and it has a much bigger focus on communities and making communities as central as friends. So here's a look at what this is going to look like. It's got a much cleaner look and feel for the app. It puts your private groups right at the center of the experience, and it's a much lighter design overall. The app isn't even blue anymore. All right, now, while we're at it, we are also rewriting the Facebook website completely from scratch and redesigning it to make it much faster and cleaner as well. This one is coming a little later this year, but here's a preview of what it's going to look like. Now, across both of these, there's a lot of new work under the hood, right? And this is more the sum of hundreds of details rather than just a few major changes. But overall, we've made it a lot easier to find and connect to the groups that you're going to be interested in. Much better suggestions, better browse and discover tools. There's a new groups tab that puts all of your communities in one place. Overall, basically now everywhere where you're going to be able to see and connect with your friends, you're also going to be able to see and connect with groups that you care about. And it all adds up to this feeling that groups are now at the heart of the experience just as much as your friends and family are. Now, while we're doing this, we are very focused on safety here across groups. And while we're recommending groups for people to join, we're very focused on making sure that our recommendations and discovery surfaces aren't highlighting groups where people are repeatedly sharing misinformation or harmful content. And we're working hard to completely remove groups if they exist primarily to violate our policies or do things that are dangerous. So that's just been a very big focus for us here. Now, there's also a lot more to communities than just groups. And there are lots of different ways to interact with the people in the communities that you care about. A lot of them are private, around events, around games, around dating, or other ways to meet new people. There's a lot more to FB5, and Fiji is going to come out a bit later to walk you through all this in more detail. But overall, this is the biggest change to the Facebook app and website that we've made in the last 5 years, since we made the whole thing native and a lot faster. And as a symbol of this, we're not just updating the look and feel, we're also updating the Facebook icon and refreshing it for the first time since I can remember, to make it a bit more lively and modern. So there we go. And I'm excited to get this app in all of your hands. We're shipping this today. And so we're going to start rolling it out. And everyone in the US is going to be able to get it today and a couple of other places. And we're going to roll it out across the rest of the world over the coming weeks as well. So, all right, now for Instagram, let's move on to Instagram. We are also very focused on adding more private interactions to what is generally a core staple of our digital town square here. And here at Instagram, we're mostly focused on stories, which are generally more privacy protective since they're more ephemeral than posting into feed permanently. And we're also focused on payments and interacting with private interactions with businesses. So let's start with shopping. One of the interesting challenges with shopping, either online or offline, is that a lot of the way that we browse is in public. But then when we actually go to do a transaction, that's a very private interaction. So we think that there's an opportunity with Instagram to marry these two experiences together and make them both better. Now, we know that a lot of us already use Instagram to find things that we're interested in, and we think that there's an opportunity to do just a lot more here. So we are launching today a new shopping channel in Explore. So you're going to be able to browse things that you may want to buy or are interested in. We're continuing to roll out checkout. So you're going to be able to buy from more and more brands from directly within the app. And we're also announcing that we're adding a new way for people to buy directly from creators too. So that means that you're going to be able to support the people who are making the stuff that you love. And I think that that's going to be a pretty big deal. All right, now moving along to stories, as more of our sharing moves to stories and becomes more ephemeral and impermanent, we're building more features on top of stories as well. And there are two that I'm excited to talk about today. The first is that we're making the camera a lot better. We're adding a new create mode, we're calling it, which makes it so that when you're building a story or starting a story, you don't need to start with a photo or a video anymore. You can start by just bringing stickers or drawing or putting text. So that's a pretty big change to how stories has worked so far. We're also launching donation stickers. So you're going to be able to create fundraisers in Instagram for causes that are important to you and that you care about. And this is another example of a feature that is going to benefit from greater interoperability between these different networks, so you can reach, with the fundraisers that you create, all of the different people you know across our different apps. All right, now, we mostly talked so far about our mobile apps and what's possible to build on phones in the current generation of computing. But we're also very focused on building technology to shape the next generation of computing, to make it more human, more designed around the ways that we all naturally interact with each other, and now also more aligned with this privacy-focused vision for the future. So I think that augmented and virtual reality have the potential to create much more personal and intimate experiences. And with VR, you feel like you're actually right there, present with someone, even if physically they're in a completely different place somewhere halfway across the world. And with AR, instead of you having your face in your phone and someone else having their face in theirs, now the computing environment is going to put digital objects in the real world that you're going to be able to both interact with and actually be present together. So 2 years ago at F8, we talked about how the camera was going to be the first AR platform. And in the last year alone, more than 1 billion people have used AR features on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Portal. And now, to make this into an even broader platform, we're focused on making it easier to build for. So today we're announcing that we're bringing the Spark AR Studio, and we're supporting both Windows and Mac. And we are also going to open our AR beta for Instagram, so everyone is going to be able to build for it. Now, one of my favorite uses of AR so far, I have to say, is on Portal. Now, if if any of you have kids, or have seen kids using masks or story time on Portal, you probably know what I mean. This is a photo of my mom reading Three Little Pigs to my daughters, and Portal has turned her into a wolf as she's huffing and puffing. So this is one of the reasons that I think Portal has done better than we expected. Right? It helps people feel together and have these intimate experiences. Even when you can't physically be together, you can feel like you're together. So building on this, I'm excited to announce that we are going to launch Portal internationally. We're starting in Canada in June, and we're going to be rolling it out across a number of countries in Europe coming later this fall. And as part of this, of course, it's really important that we bring WhatsApp to Portal. So we're doing that. So now you're going to be able to make video calls on both WhatsApp and Messenger on Portal. And you know what that means? That means that we are bringing end-to-end encryption to all video calls on Portal. So now you can be sure that when you're having conversations with your friends and family, everything stays between you. All right, now the last area that I want to talk about today is virtual reality. Now, this is going to be a big year for VR because we are shipping 2 new products. Oculus Rift S, which improves on the original Rift, a higher resolution display, better optics, inside-out tracking. And of course, we're launching Oculus Quest, the all-in-one headset that we've all been waiting for with no cables and full freedom of movement. So, these are a real step forward. Rift S is the most powerful VR headset that you can buy. And Quest just blows people away because it's the first time that you can just walk around a VR space and fully interact with the people in it. So I'm excited to announce that we are opening pre-orders for both of them today. They're each going to be $399. They're going to start shipping within a month on May 21st. And that's a date that you're all going to want to remember because everyone here at F8 is going to be getting a free Oculus Quest. So I'm really excited to get this into your hands. I can't wait to hear what you all think of this. I'm excited to hear what you all think, and to see you all post videos of how exciting it is as you're using this. All right, so that's how we're starting to build out this privacy-focused vision across everything we do. It's still early, but if we get this right, then using all of these services is going to be a fundamentally different experience a few years from now. Now, at the end of the day, this isn't just about building some new products. It's a major shift in how we run this company. Because we believe that for the future, people want a privacy-focused social platform. And I believe that if we build out a fully encrypted, interoperable service with all of the ways that people want to interact privately, then that's going to be an important contribution to the world. Now, for us, this is about building the kind of future that we want to live in. I believe that we should be working to build a world where we can be ourselves and where we can live freely, knowing that our private moments are only going to be seen by the people we want. A world where everyone has the power to speak and say what they want and use their voice and connect to the people they care about, where we can come together around community and around commerce, where we build in the tools that we need to keep us safe from the beginning and prevent harm, and where we then are able to focus on all the good that people are able to do, and not just the big moments, right? The social movements, the breakthroughs, but also all the everyday good, the emotional support, the jokes with friends, the feeling of being together with your family, both in private and in public, the living room and our town squares. So if we work hard and deliver this vision that we've laid out today, then I'm going to be proud of the difference that we've made. So thank you all. I'm looking forward to doing this together, and have a great F8.